You have said many things that we will take away, with your words ringing in our ears, I think, about the historic strategic mistakes that Europe made with its excessive dependency on Russian gas, the crucial need to avoid repeating those mistakes with excessive dependency on other external providers of energy or energy equipment. And we all know what you have in mind there, of course, with your warning on the very high levels of dependency that we already have on China for renewable energy equipment, including many components and materials, including components and materials we use in wind turbines, and the crucial need for European governments to put in place incentives that will support the investments we need to ensure that Europe's and Turkey's wind energy industry can return to full competitiveness and can grow, because we need more factories in Europe. We need to expand the existing factories and upgrade them if we are to deliver Europe's now very ambitious climate and energy security targets. Could I add just one observation on something that you have said? Nobody can create problems when the wind energy is being produced at home. That's absolutely right, provided we are vigilant on what sort of equipment is used. There are around 300 electronic sensors on every modern wind turbine, producing huge quantities of data every minute. The data that comes from those sensors, it's linked to data from sensors on other parts of the electricity system. There are major security risks if we allow that data to be stored and analysed outside of Europe. And we must be extremely vigilant on this. And the pre-qualification criteria that you and the Commissioner have talked about are both targeting the need for vigilance on cyber security and data security, including data residency. Thank you very much indeed, Dr. Birol, for your observations and for joining us this morning. I'm now going to give the floor to the President of...
Thank you very much, Giles. Thank you for the opening remarks from Mrs. Commissioner, from Fatih Birol, and from you. Thank you very much for all you said and you contributed. It's an honor to address the esteemed Assembly here, including members from the Parliament, the Energy Commissioner, Mr. Giles Dickson, whom we have been cooperating since the beginning of the year to organize this event, and Mr. Fatih Birol, who has been supportive for us to be here today and to organize this event with his participation, and members of the industry, members of our Turkish Wind Energy Association, and the members from the diplomatic missions in Brussels. As we all explore the potential of wind energy, I believe we need to unite in our collective mission, not only in the EU, as Giles mentioned, in the broader EU, for a sustainable Europe, and also we need to harness the winds of change for a brighter future. So why we are here is maybe a question in most of your minds, most of the people's minds. I just want to make a brief introduction who TÜREB is and what we are representing. So as TÜREB, we are representing more than 500 members from Turkish wind energy industry, investors, industry, advisory, consulting companies, and all sorts of other stakeholders. We are representing 11% of Turkish power generation, with 12 gigawatts of wind installed capacity, which is sixth in Europe, and generating 35 terawatt hours of annual power. And in addition to this, we are representing fifth largest wind industry in Europe, with 1.5 billion euros of turnover, out of which 70-75% is export to Europe, mainly European markets. So we are very well bound with the European industry. And why we are here is, in fact, we are going to present you the Turkish wind business case as a unique example of how successfully Turkey has localized wind and how we can cooperate with Europe and with European wind industry to mitigate the challenges of Europe in terms of energy supply and in terms of supply chain issues. So just a quick glimpse to what we have lived through in the past few years. We have, we had seen 8 folds of increases in energy prices, which still are high when you compare it to a pre-COVID period, which is almost double the amount we had been observing pre-COVID. So we need to ask the future. We need to ask the question about the future, how this is going to continue, and in addition to the energy crisis, we also have seen challenges and significant problems regarding the supply chain. In the past few years, we have observed volatile logistics prices, scarcity in critical components, and not only components, but also materials, key materials. Then increased lead times of equipment and supplies from suppliers to the assemblers. Then all these led to increases in turbine prices and component prices, which affected the investments. And finally, we have all faced with the truth, as Mr. Birol mentioned, there is a significant supplier distortion in wind. It was not only in solar, but we have been observing the same push in the supplier distortion in wind. So when we look at the numbers, we have been observing approximately 85% dominance of one region, one country in solar, while we observe more or less 60%, 55 to 60% dominance, depending on different components in onshore and offshore, also in wind. So the question in most of our minds are how this is going to continue, or whether we are going to let this go and be similar to the solar's fate. So coming to Turkey back again, what does Turkey represent? Turkey has an 85 million population, which is a huge market and also huge potential for production, where we are generating 330 terawatt hours of energy annually, out of which 35 terawatt hours is coming from wind, approximately 20 terawatt hours is coming from solar. And we are doing this with 106 gigawatts of installed capacity, out of which wind has already reached to about 12 gigawatts, which brought us to this, as I mentioned, 6th place in European wind installed capacity. And what Turkey has gained in the past 15 years out of this development is, in fact, with the support of the international partners, European, Korean, American partners, we have developed a strong and secure industrial base in Turkey, where we are generating towers, blades, generators in numerous different locations, mainly close to the transport routes, which is on the west of Turkey. And this led us to become the 5th largest wind industry in Turkey. And on top, I just want to mention about one information about the offshore potential. Turkey already is the 6th largest vessel production of Europe. So this also brings another angle for a potential cooperation in the future. So what is up to come in Turkey? I mean, we have achieved this investment push, which brought us in a very strong and stable industrial development. What are we expecting in the future is we are expecting to reach to about 40 gigawatts of installed capacity by 2035. And how this is going to happen is with the newly granted licenses and new licenses which we are expecting. You can also follow it from the graph. We already have certain amount of capacity extensions for our existing projects. In addition to those, there's so-called YECA projects, which focuses on localization. And recently, there was a recent campaign of like grant of licenses where Turkish government and regulator, Ministry of Energy, decided to combine storage with the renewables to give another push. And they have granted, and they are going to grant, the process is ongoing, 19 gigawatts of additional wind capacity in Turkey. And on top, at the beginning of the year, Turkish Ministry of Energy announced that Turkey is targeting 5 gigawatts of offshore until 2035. So all in all, these are going to bring us to 43 gigawatts of installed capacity, hopefully by 2035. And what this is going to bring to Turkey, in fact, is multifold. It's going to push onshore turbine and equipment manufacturing. Then offshore turbine and equipment manufacturing potential is huge. As I gave you a key information, another potential development area is in offshore vessels and construction equipment. And lastly, may not be directly to wind, but storage. All of us are owning storage, so it's not only solar or wind. This gives another huge potential for storage equipment manufacturing in Turkey. So what should we do? And what we can do is Turkey, we believe, can be the strongest partner of Europe, not only in gas, not only in natural gas, as we have been spoken in the past, 20 to 30 years, but it's also energy security and wind supply chain and other renewable supply chain. And if we combine powers to achieve this, I believe we can reach to a combined manufacturing capability. We need to work on this. Then we need to work on a collective energy security strategy and establish common market frameworks, which can lead us to additional cooperation areas where we can invest on an integrated grid to expand our connections. We already have certain connections, but those are quite limited, which we believe is very important for the energy supply, renewable energy supply from Turkey to Europe, and establish a common emission trading mechanism where we have different markets but communicate each other. So what this is going to bring us is triple win. We call it triple win. So we can win with wind in terms of the market size, in terms of energy security, and in terms of consumer benefits, which we will bring to Turkish and European consumers. Thank you much for listening. Thank you.
Combined manufacturing capability between Turkey of one of those companies. It is CS Wind.
Giles, customers, partners, colleagues, declining the strategic relevance of the wind industry for hopefully I'm the value. We employ 450 people directly and the country that we will talk later. Beyond that, we are panel, many of them here present. We are sourcing components and exporting machinery from Europe, mainly Germany, to technologies like wind turbines, wind components for turbines. Russian war shook up supply chains globally. As our materials come from Turkey and machinery, in our case, We do as business people, I as a business people, I don't want to enter into politics, climate change, and for the